Eric Mangini is now joining me. My guy, former NFL coach 2 times, joining me via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. I said earlier, the Cowboys offense reminds me of a political ad, regardless of if you're a Democrat or a Republican, is that it's slick and that it's glossy, but it's not really the truth, right? Like you're showing Dallas last year in 6 different games either threw in garbage points late to make a blowout look close, or in 3 games, Saints, Patriots, Eagles, where you actually needed 1 touchdown drive, in the second half, they couldn't provide it. That I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of political ad. It's real glossy and slick and a lot of stats, but I don't trust their offense against Seattle. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and like a political ad, they're not that interesting. You watch Dallas play, and but for the grace of the football gods, they really should be 0-2. There's no way that they should have won this past game, and it's frustrating to watch. And I don't know if it's the function of they're supposed to have a franchise quarterback and a franchise running back and a franchise wide receiver, and they've gotten all this help, and there's continuity with the offensive coordinator, and there's an offensive head coach, so you're expecting a lot. But as you watch it, you don't feel like they're explosive in the way you think of Kansas City or when you think of New Orleans when they're hitting. It just doesn't seem the same way. It doesn't feel the same way. And for as good as the offensive line is supposed to be, there's guys playing in all different spots. There's been inconsistent blocking, and it's been disappointing to this point. I agree with you. It's not what it seems or what it should be.
Yeah. Now they face Seattle. Russell Wilson, I think everybody's always liked him. He feels different this year. What is it? What do you see?
Well, look, I know everybody wants the let Russ cook and is excited about what he's done. He's had a great start to the year. I think it's 84% completion. But one of the things that they did really well last year was rein things in. And people got frustrated because they didn't let Russell do as much as they thought he could. But if you look at the year before, Colin, he was sacked almost 11% of the time. That's like historic sack numbers. And it put him behind the sticks. It created turnovers, self-inflicted wounds. I caution Seattle not to get too caught up with either direction. Don't go the extreme they had last year where he didn't get the opportunities. But if you want to keep going down this route, he's going to default to those numbers that he had, which is the high 8s, the high 9s, the high 10s, and sacks. And I don't think you have to do that. You don't have to be this extreme, and I don't think it's sustainable either.
You live in Cleveland, so you have thoughts on the Cleveland Browns, and you actually hear a lot and know a lot, and you used to coach them. And it's interesting because they play Washington with extra time to prepare. This should be a win for them. This is a quarterback now with some legs. It's a lot of offensive weapons, and it's a Washington team in a rebuild mode with a young quarterback. So 2 things. There is a big upcoming stretch for Baker Mayfield. The next 4 weeks, he plays the 3 best pass rushes in the league statistically: Washington, Colts, and Steelers. He has not been good under pressure. I believe that organizations make decisions privately long before they make them publicly. In a league where many of the best young quarterbacks are actually very good against pressure, he's awful against it. If he struggles in this 4-game stretch against pressure, do you think decisions will be made from a new GM and a new coach who have no loyalty to him?
Well, their ability to make the decision on the quarterback is also going to be based off of how well they do in terms of coaching and managing the team over the course of the year. I think the owner has a pretty strong influence on the decisions that are made. But the greatest thing that Cleveland can do is run the ball. If you don't want your quarterback pressured, and you've got 2 running backs like they have, and you can run the ball as effectively as they have, it slows everything down. Pass rushers have to deal with the run first. Even when they want to tee off, because there's that threat, they've got to take that into consideration. All the play action is that much more effective. The way that they can help Baker, and the way that Baker has been the most successful, is by setting up and relying on the running game, then using the play action, and he's a different guy. If you want to turn him into just a passer, it's not going to work, and it's not going to be successful for him or Stefanski.
So sometimes I can't explain stuff. I love Carson Wentz. Why is Carson Wentz so bad right now? What is happening with Carson Wentz, a guy I love?
I went back and watched both games, coach's copy, just to look at these plays. And the Washington game, to me, was somewhat mismanaged. They're up 17-0. They've got the ball on a 2-minute drive, and they try to throw it deep out. The throw wasn't that bad. The read was exactly right. It was the receiver could have helped him and come back to the ball. So it gets picked up or picked off, and Washington goes in with momentum. They start the second half. He gets picked off on almost the identical throw, almost the identical situation. Momentum shifts, and then panic sets in, and they're going for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 3, giving Washington short fields. And there's no way they should have lost that game, and he didn't really play that bad. And when you look at the second game, they're down 21-3 quickly.
Yeah.
And there's a turnover early, and he comes back, and he's got a chance to take the lead at the start of the second half. And he throws another ball that's really not that bad a ball, and it's still a good read, and it's a good defensive play. But when he was really good, and people forget this, he had a much better supporting cast. He had a much stronger defense. Now it feels like there's all this pressure on him, and they're putting him in some tough situations, and he's trying to make plays and press plays because he doesn't feel as confident in the rest of the supporting cast.
Shift to Cam Newton. He and Edelman had a monster night on the road. I was surprised by that relationship. N'Keal Harry, I did think Cam would probably be a nice new fit for him. Tom, I said this last week or earlier this week, is that Cam looks at N'Keal Harry as a young, talented weapon. Tom looked at him as a guy that couldn't get to the right spot. But the Edelman-Cam relationship, I was surprised by how effective it was. Were you?
Look, I've been surprised at the relationship of Cam with the Patriots in every aspect. I was surprised that they signed him. I was surprised that he's acted or taken the approach that he's taken. I've been surprised by every aspect of this, and I was probably the biggest skeptic. But I would imagine his relationship with the receivers, he's going to have a little bit different bond with the younger guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure those guys used to play Cam in Madden. And with Edelman, he just realizes that it's reliable, and it's always going to be there, and usually it's going to be open, and usually he's going to catch it. So I think that'll continue to grow.
Finally, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the ageless one. What do you make of him? Why is he still in the league? He's hot and cold. What do you make of him?
Well, I think the Fitzmagic moniker is perfect because at the end of each game, he's usually going to make somebody's victory disappear, and it's either it's yours or theirs because you don't know which guy's going to show up. And this has been the way he was since Buffalo. If you get him when he's hot, he is so hard to deal with. He's exciting. He can make incredible throws, and then you flip the switch, and the next game it's 2, 3, 4 interceptions or fumble, and it's just terrible. And you look at him, and he's a smart guy. He's, I'm sure, a great mentor for young players. He's probably great to have on your team, and he excites you. But then he also realized that, he's going to give away about 40% of the games and win about 60, kind of like his TD to interception ratio, and that gets frustrating.
Yeah. Eric Mangini, good talking to you, Coach. Thanks for coming on a Friday. We appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.